that. We can go like that. All right, beautiful. There you are, bro. It's good to see you.
You too.
You had a great trade this morning, bro, on GBP USD.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, we both got some bag on that, right?
Yeah, bro, I'm following your lead on it. So that's why I wanted to bring you on this morning and talk about it because I think that it's got some value in there. We got some nuggets to share. So you want to break it
Sure.
down for us on the 15-minute? I have it marked up right now, like the way that everyone can see it right here. The way that this is like off that original D1 entry, not off our entry down here.
Yep.
So I can just leave
Sure.
this up and then you can kind of explain what we did as time went on if you want, or I can erase it, whatever you would prefer.
Sure. No, perfect, perfect. Yeah, I was think so. Yeah, from I'll getting to the desk. I think I've been focusing mainly on the pound and euro pairs. Just they have the best volume, best volatility. On the one of the indicators we use, ADR, has got the most volume on ADR. So I've just been focused on those pairs lately. And coming to the desk, we had nice movements on the pound pairs yesterday. I got a piece of GCAD and GA to the downside. So obviously coming in, we know that we train traders and we like to follow that trend. And so I came knowing that possibly we could get another move to the downside on the pound pairs, and came in, and I think I had GCHF for short bias, GCAD as well, even though that was a bit of a swapping liquid 50. But GU made the most sense for me because when I was in it, when I was watching it, look, it was really above the 50-minute 50, right? It didn't really get into a proper big upshift.
No.
And then I saw the D1 building, and I've been trading London Open now. So I saw the D1 building during London, the London Open, and then it moved into that 15-minute downshift, and it's a very big overextended 15-minute downshift. But so what I did was that candle there. It's the biggest candle of the day and it's overextended. But what I did was, and I know you did it too, and this is how I've been using the D1s and the A1s together. Is I waited for that 15-minute shift to be in our favor, the short-term 15-minute shift. So the 8 and 21 EMAs to be in our favor, which is obviously the 8 below the 21 to the downside, because we're trading GU short. And I got back in on the 1 minute with about a 9 pip stop, just under 10 pip stop, and it went to about one. But it went to about 12 pips, my best exit. And I had my entry split over two. So I was in on the first retest, and then I saw that it was it gave us a second indication that was going to go lower with the second retest. As you can see, marked up there. James has it. Yep, entry in here still in play. Yep, the D1 still in play, and that's where I got back in, and it fell nicely for my entry. I think over my two entries, I'll split at 0.5% risk, and I got 0.52. So I was quite stoked with that, and it
Take
went
that. I
right,
love that.
right to the divergence low and low of day. So yeah, I was stoked with that.
Now, you got to educate me here. That all makes sense to me. I feel like anybody that's watching, if they know the ASFX language, that's going to make perfect sense to them too. Can you educate us a little bit on
Sure.
what did I do wrong with my divergence line? Because I looked at your markup. See how like my
Yep.
line here is not touching the candles today, but your line
Sure.
on the picture you sent was touching it. What did you do differently than what I did? Because I drew
Yeah.
mine back here
I think
yesterday. See what
yeah
I'm
from
saying?
the previous day. Yeah. So that obviously that was from Friday. So I ignored the that divergence start from Friday. I just went to the recent one from Monday, and then drew to the divergence low today, where it matches up with RSI. I think it's kind of the main thing is that it's still divergent. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't
100%.
matter. I think it's just preference. To just as long as you do the same thing day in and day out, I think it's just the divergence is still present.
Right. Because then I mean, if you were looking at it like this, no, and I totally agree with what you're saying that as long as there's divergence there, you're
Sure.
knocking it. Like that's what I did. Like I still took a knock for it.
Yeah.
Because if you draw it like
Okay.
this, right?
Yep.
Like if you
Yep.
start with this RSI low and you go to today's RSI low, which is right
Yep.
here, then it looks like it broke the divergence and you're trading the retest of the
Yep.
divergence almost, you know?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
either way,
Exactly.
it
I think it
doesn't
just
really
depends on how
matter.
you drew it. Yeah.
Like you're saying, it doesn't really matter how or exactly what points you use. The most important thing is you're knocking it. You're putting it like I have a little star for anything I knock. So you're knocking that
Yep.
as something against the setup that the divergence is there. So you're sizing down. You're grading it a little bit smaller, like a B or a C setup, and that's going to
Yep.
control the way you manage the
Yep.
trade. And you're still going to be profitable because you, like you said, lock your stop and take the profit. So I think that you're spot
Sure.
on in saying that. I was just curious to see what you're saying, what you were thinking with the divergence line. But either way, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
That's the most important
Sure.
thing.
Yep.
Um,
And
yeah,
another zone there is that low of day. So you know that you've got to be taking off some at that low of day. We know that that can be a significant level. So I think either way, you're taking off profits at 1 hour, and it being a B setup. Yep, you got to take off at low of day, in my opinion, no matter what.
yep. And it tried to go lower. Look, it like tried to come lower after like make a lower high
Yeah,
right here
try
and
to.
come couldn't, and then it just gets shoved out. And I think like
Yep.
Some of the guys
Yep.
asked about your stop loss placement. Like your stop loss is in a great spot for these trades. That's why I like taking them with you, because here you're still riding the D1.
Thanks.
And then here, if it does come up to that stop, it ends up doing something normally like this where it breaks the 21. So you don't want to be in it anyway.
Sure.
You wouldn't want it
And you don't
anymore
want
anyway.
it. No, you don't
Someone
want it.
someone asked
Yep.
me
If exactly.
real quick. Someone asked me
Sure.
why did you take the trade still, even though like this 50 EMA retest down here where we got in was a lot lower than that original one that I told you, like I had marked here where the divergence is, right? Because here, this is the first 50
Yep.
EMA retest with the L50 in the sell zone right there. So you could go short here
Yep.
with your stop at the top, right?
Yep.
So my answer to, it was Nick, this guy from Texas. I think you probably talked to him, Nick Pippin.
Sure.
He's probably listening right now. He said to
Yeah,
me, he's
Nick
like,
Pippin. Yep.
why
Yep.
did you guys take the trade where you did? And I said, because the market sentiment line on the 1 minute stayed in the sell zone still. So it was still in play as the same D1. Is that what you're saying too? Same
Correct.
thing? Okay.
Yeah, and still holding the 50-minute ATMA, which is a sign that it's still in that holding that downshift nicely.
Yeah. I think there's like, again, it's really coming off the 50 that you can find these great points. I think the issue that I used to mess up is I would enter here and my stop would go here or here and it would be too close and sometimes get me tapped out. So like, for example, if you were to go short here, some people will put a stop right here and that's too close, you know?
Yeah.
So you always got to go to the one
What
reaction point before and mark it there, you know?
Sure. What I've been doing is with these entries, if the retest is coming where price is close to the 1 minute 800, which is the 50-minute 50, like that first markup that you have there of that entry there, correct? I'll always place a stop just above the 1 minute 800 because if it breaks the 50-minute 50 with the body, we don't want it.
No.
If it's coming off more where our retest where we got in, I'm putting it above and it's way off the 1 minute 800. I'm using the 1 minute 200, which is the 50-minute 21 as my stop loss placement above or below that, obviously, if you're trading long or short. So those are my two stop loss placements for these entries, is above the 1 minute 200 and above the 1 minute 800, or below, obviously, depending on where we're trading.
I like that. It makes sense. Was there any higher time frame bias here other than that you made money short yesterday?
I think, yeah, kind of just, I know that GU and GJ have been on big bull runs. I know GJ was up like 6% last month, but yeah. I think just the 1 hour and 4 hour were in a downshift where the 8 was below the 21. So that backs up our short bias as well. I mean, it's in a downshift on the hard time frames as well as the 50-minute that just backs up we trading with trend for sure.
It's not much else I could say for it, bro. Check this out. I got these sound effects. Let me see if I can give you some. Ready? Can you hear that?
I couldn't.
No, you can't hear it? Can you guys in the chat tell me if you can hear this clapping sound?
I can't hear it. Maybe the guys in the chat can.
Yeah, you guys will have to tell me. I'm playing around with it. Maybe because it was coming through my computer. Maybe it's not coming through the machine. DJ Silver's still playing with it, bro. We're still playing with it. But no, bro, this is good info. All good info here. Anything else you want to leave the people, at least on this? We can keep talking about other trades, but anything else about this before we move on to a different?
I think you know what I've just found with trading, and especially with these entries, is you can't expect every trade to go like 2, 3, 4R. I mean, if you didn't take profits there, you're going to get stopped out, and you don't want to be stopped out when going up 1.2, 1.3R. You want to take that money and bag. Like today, I sent you the screenshot actually through Discord just for proof of the if you wanted to show it on the live. 0.52. I mean, 0.52% could be $10,000. It could be $50,000, could be $500. It's all different for everyone. But if you're getting those 0.5, 0.3% a day, you know, not putting much risk on the table, you're making money over the long term, and that's all that counts.
100%, bro. 100%. Well, everybody